What's your biggest fear? Is it the fear of heights? The fear of public speaking? Maybe spiders? I'm going to be a little vulnerable with y'all. We are going to be diving into my biggest fear, thalassophobia. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it is the fear of deep bodies of water. For me, obviously, it's the ocean, and the little we know about it. I'm terrified by the thought of how deep, dark, and unknown it is. So, we are going to be looking into what lies beneath the wave, and maybe shedding some light on it might make it less intimidating for you. Because me, I'm still not a fan. Let's start with the basics. What is the deep sea? Well, as the name suggests, it is the lowest zone of the ocean. The sea is classified into 3 different levels. The zones are determined by how far the sun's light reaches. We got the sunlight and the twilight zone, and the part we are focusing on today, the deep ocean, which is further separated by 3 different zones: the midnight, the abyss, and the trenches. The midnight sounds pretty alright, only in name. The others, not for me. The deep sea makes up 75% of the ocean, and it starts at about 200 meters down or 650 feet. The sunlight zone, where we all know and most of the fun animals and fish live, only makes up 5%, while the twilight zone is about 20%. With all that being said, we have yet to talk about the pressure of the deep. At sea level, we experience about 14.7 pounds per inch, but we don't feel that because the fluids in our body push back at the same level of force. In the ocean, for every 33 feet, or 10-ish meters we go down, the pressure increases by 1 atmosphere. What does that mean? I have no idea, other than the body starts to hurt a lot. Many sea animals don't have a problem with the high pressure. Their ribs can be bound by loose, flexible cartilage that lets them fold in higher pressure levels that would snap a human. Animals like whales have collapsible lungs, which stops them from rupturing during pressure changes. It lets animals like the sperm whale swim more than 7,000 feet to prey on their natural enemy, the giant squid, and back to the surface with no internal problems. With all these anti-human qualities, you might be asking yourself, why in the dark depths do we need to explore this place? For one, we're human. Exploring is one of our finer qualities. And of course, for science. We have only been able to explore about 1% of the abyss. And with that small number, we're able to discover that the depths have a wide array of ecosystems. Endless trenches, underwater mountains, volcanoes, hydrothermic vents, and probably much more that are waiting to be discovered. The different ecosystems have different animals that have evolved to survive and thrive in one of Earth's extremes. Studying how they can exist in such conditions could help us learn more about ourselves, not just us, but the world around us. Exploring can lead to a better understanding of Earth's ecology, leading to better instruments that could help us better predict earthquakes, floods, and hurricanes. Hopefully, it can help us find solutions to some of the problems we've created ourselves, like overfishing and the start of deep-sea drilling. Selfishly, because I do enjoy some grilled fish and the planet we live on. Speaking of fish, what type of things live down there? The animals are my favorite and yet least favorite part. Again, the deep sea is a cold mofo, with no sunlight, little to no oxygen, and pressurized to high hell. So saying that the animals that call this area home are unique is an understatement. Let's take a peek at some of these oddities. First off, we have the marine hatchfish. They are tiny little buggers that can get up to 2.5 inches long. They can be found in the 600 to the 4,500 feet range and usually reside in tropical, subtropical, or temperate waters around the world. Deep sea hatchetfish prefer to live in the dark void of the depth, but they can swim to the surface for food. They can even jump out of the water like dolphins to catch mosquitoes or other insects they might like. What I like most about them is their bioluminescence. Their body can produce light. It ain't that bright, but in the depths where it lives, it can be enough to confuse its predators. Scientists also believe that they can use their glow up as a mating ritual, but that's just a theory. Now we have the Michael Jackson of the deep sea, the one that gave us nightmares and probably one of the reasons I fear the ocean, the anglerfish. These large-mouthed, sharp-teethed, light-dangling creatures actually have over 200 different species that populate the Earth. Some live in the deep ocean, and others live in more sunlit areas. We are focusing, of course, on their deep-sea variants. In my opinion, the more interesting one anyway. Their dwindling rod of light is their most iconic feature, and not all deep-sea anglerfish have them. The rod is only grown by females to attract prey. Their male counterparts are smaller, rodless, and more parasitic. They do have a better sense of smell than the females, but they just use that to find one and attach to its side with its teeth. The males can stay attached for their entire lifetime. If they are attached long enough, the males pretty much become a permanent appendage. It loses its eyesight and the ability to live on its own. It sucks all it needs to from the female's blood. In slightly more interesting fun fact, they can extend their stomachs so they can eat animals that are double their size. These are just weird creatures. The more I learn about them, the more they creep me out. Let's move away from the nightmare fuel and move towards something more Disney-ish. Yes, something like that does exist in the deep depths of the sea. I present to you the Dumbo fish. As of right now, it is the deepest octopus species, living at least 400 meters or 13,000 feet below the surface. Like its namesake, it uses its ears as fins to move around. That is not the only thing that sets it apart from its peers. Due to the lack of predators in the depths, Dumbo octopi don't have ink sacs. They exist peacefully, floating through the ocean without a fear in the world. The Dumbo is pretty tiny, which adds to its cuteness factor. On average, they are about 8 inches long and a few pounds. The biggest one caught was 2 meters, or just about 6 feet, and weighed almost 13 pounds. Now that's the biggest one we've found so far. Somewhere in the world, there might be one that is the size of its namesake. I think it's just a matter of time till we find it, which in my opinion would remove its cuteness factor. In conclusion, I am more afraid of the sea now than I was before. We didn't even go into the specifics of the different levels of the ocean. We know how the abyss is practically still a big question mark to us in our technologies, but I am excited about what the exploration of the vast depths will unearth and how it will help us better understand Papa Planet. But I'll be excited and cheering on the professionals from the comfort of my own home. If you have any more info to add or want to tell me I'm wrong about something, then leave a comment. While you're at it, you might as well leave a like to spread the word about this mystery, and subscribe if you don't want to miss the next entry of Nature's Journal. Learn more about the planet we live on by clicking on the next video in front of you.